Right now, the safety zone surrounding a massive barge wreck near the Galveston Bay continues following Friday's barge collision. Boaters are not allowed to operate within that safety zone. People near the Seabrook, Clear Lake shores, Kemah, Bay Cliff, and San Leon shorelines are advised to stay out of the water until they are told it is safe. A tanker collided with a tugboat, pushing two barges on Friday. 9,000 barrels of a gasoline blend spilled into the water from one of those barges. That second barge capsized and is still in the water. Officials are going door to door telling people to stay out of the water.
Yes, we've absolutely told them do not contact the cargo, stay out of the cargo in the water, and don't fish has been ordered by the Texas Department of Health.
How long should they do that?
I think that's yet to be determined.
Officials say many of the chemicals released evaporated into the air, but a lot of that remains. All of the chemicals in that capsized vessel must be removed before the barge can be towed.